frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Kathy at Attic Treasures, etc. And today's Star Trek Day, September 8th, 2021. And September 8th was the day that Star Trek first premiered on television. So I thought I would honor that with an intro with my husband's model that he made of the Starship Enterprise, and just a little intro that I'm playing on Netflix. Anyway, so this is part 4 of the Boxes, Bags, and Book Pages series, and I finished up making the embellishments to go inside. And so what I thought I would do is, just as I'm going through putting them in, I'll show you what I did to decorate them, because we made the bases in the last video, but since then I've decorated them up, and I've got pictures next to me so I remember where everything is supposed to be going. So for this signature, I made this little hidden journaling space, and what I did is I took a template of the cover, or the opening part of the Kleenex box. I made a template out of it, out of cardboard, so that I could create this little pull-out journaling spot. And I wanted to just put this right on the front part of the cover. I kind of like the way these flowers matched. I put paper on each one for journaling, and they're just made out of thin cardboard, and I used some chintzy rug fabric as tabs to make it easier to open. So I'm just going to glue this down. So are there any Trekkies out there? My husband and I enjoy Star Trek and Star Wars. I tell people that I am an ecumenical sci-fi fan, and that it's a very big universe. So, and since Star Wars all happened long ago and far away, and Star Trek is all in the future, I cover all the time streams. So we really like it. I've been binging Voyager, actually, while I craft, when I'm not making a video. And I've always found that to be a lot of fun. I love Captain Janeway. I didn't watch Voyager for a really long time because I was really into Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I just didn't think that anything could top The Next Generation and Captain Picard. But Janeway, she turned out to be really good. Love her. So in the last video, I used ledger paper to make this flip, or this little waterfall notepad, but I ended up not liking it when I went to put it inside this journal, because I just didn't feel like the papers matched the theme of the journal very well. And I had some parchment paper on hand that I found at a thrift store, so I did that, and I just topped it with some more Edith Holden book page and some chintzy fabric and a little button, just to give it some interest and appeal. And I'm going to just glue this down. So the original series was not something that, I watched it when it was first on TV as a kid. It was just such a family event when we would watch it, and I absolutely loved it. I had an autographed picture of William Shatner on my nightstand. I just thought he was the best. But then later on, when The Next Generation came out, I really liked that as well. And when I went back to watch the original series, I thought, boy, this is just really hokey. But my husband found an audio book by William Shatner that we just finished listening to, about his his memories of creating and starring in the original series and things that went on behind the scenes and stuff. And it was so interesting. And we listened to the whole thing while we were in the car. And now it makes me want to watch the original series again. So I just looked on Netflix just so I could play that little intro part. And my last day of watching it on Netflix is going to be September 30th. So either I better hurry up and do that, or I think I can watch it on Paramount as well. Okay, so for this little pocket, I put some napkin here on the bottom, this little bottom part right here. The same napkin that I've used on the cover, just so it kind of matches. And I really like the way that looks and really kind of pulls it all together. And it was just some leftover bits of the napkin. Then on the inside, I'm going to put this pocket that we made together in the last video, and I also added some of the napkin on the front. I went ahead and closed this particular part of the pocket because I just thought it would be stronger if I closed it up, and it made it easier to cover with the napkin. And then I found this fussy cut butterfly in the black and white, and I thought it looked so pretty with the notes here, so I decided to put that on there instead of something more colorful. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit here so you can see better. There we go. And we'll just glue this on. So I've been, like I said, I've been binging the Voyager series just because I really like, I've watched it so many times. All I have to do is listen to it while I'm crafting. I know what's going on, and it keeps me company. I just love the storyline. I think that the acting is really good and the writing is really good. The acting is really good. I think the costumes, the set design, everything. When I was, a few years ago, I was taking community college classes to get a degree in paralegal, technical sciences. And one of the electives that I had to take was a film class, and it was summer, and I didn't want to spend, all day studying, but I really learned so much in that film class about set design and things like that. And I got to pick all my own movies, that were, at least the ones that were on the list, and all the movies that were on the list were movies. Well, I wouldn't say all the ones that were on the list are movies that I liked, but all the Star Wars movies that I liked were on the list. And so I used the Star Wars movies. We had the DVDs of all the different ones that included the director's cut, which I never would have watched had it not been for that film class. So I decided to go ahead and watch that. Let's see, am I going to the next one now? Okay, I'll say, so this one is done as far as the embellishments go. So we have the little, I don't even know what you would call it, this little journaling spot right here. I wanted to make sure that there were lots of places to write, and then we have this little waterfall notepad and a place to tuck in some tags, and another place right here. So in the next video, we'll be adding the signatures and making the tags to go in. So this signature cover is done. And next one is this. So I originally was going to take this and make it a belly band pocket, but instead I'm going to just make it a double pocket. So we'll have let's use this, have a pocket here and a pocket here. And the reason I didn't want to make it a belly band pocket is because I didn't want to cover up this fussy cut. I just think it's really pretty. Sorry about the lighting. Let's make that a little bit better. There we go. Oh, hey. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to just attach it on 3 sides. And this one I've sewn around, added a little bit of zigzag stitching, added a stamp and a fussy cut flower from an old piece of scrapbook paper. So I've been having so much fun making this whole little journal. It's the second one that I've made like this, and boy, it just really starts coming together when you start making the embellishments. I'm going to add a little bit more glue down here. And decorating the embellishments is part of the fun. I love making the bases But adding the final touches like the little stamp here and stuff like that, and figuring out where you want to put them, that's a lot of fun too. And I'm telling you, I can spend hours doing it. Lots and lots of episodes of Star Trek. Okay, and then on the inside, I wanted to put this little flip down notepad here, and I kind of wanted to show you how this works. So I sewed, let's see, which way did I do this? There we go. I sewed this button to this little scrap of lace here before I glued it down, just to make it easier, and also to give some flexibility for the button. And then glued this piece of baker's twine that I got at the dollar store. And then I can keep it closed just by wrapping the twine around the button. And when you open it, we have this little scrappy notepad. One thing that my husband and I did, which was really kind of fun, is we watched all of the Star Trek episodes in order, as far as the timeline, not when they were released, but the timeline. So Enterprise was actually first. And I have to tell you, the first time we watched that, I just sort of struggled through it because I just thought Captain Archer was such a ham. He must have been channeling his original the original William Shatner role. But Scott Bakula, I loved watching him in, what was that show that he was in? Quantum Leap. That's what it was. That was a fun show. So I just thought, Enterprise has got to be good. It's got Scott Bakula in it. Well, I really struggled with that one the first time through. But then the second time through, when I watched it, I thought, hey, you know what? This is really a pretty good show. I loved the intro to it. Okay, so this pocket, I added an extra piece of sturdy book page to the back of it just to give it a little more structure. And now I'm just gluing it down, and I took some fussy cut from a gardening book, and then I found a book of bird stamps, bird and flower stamps of the U.S., and so added one of those in there as well. So, and then there's a place for a tag. And just a sneak peek, we're going to be using the flaps from the Kleenex box to make the tags. And then on the inside here, I decorated this little matchbook notepad by adding this little fussy cut bird and some flower. The bird came from a book of birds of South Africa that I found at a garage sale, and the flower is from Edith Holden, but I really like the way the colors of the butterfly and the bird went together, and also the two birds next to each other. Anyway, I didn't know anything about Star Trek Day. As much as I love Star Trek and I've been watching it for a long time, I just didn't know that there was such a thing as Star Trek Day until recently. And then I looked it up. Why is September 8th Star Trek Day? Well, that's because that was the day that the original series premiered on television. When I got through watching Voyager for the first time, I was like, well, now what? What do I do now? It was such a good series. And then a friend of mine said, well, there's books, right? I'm like, books? There's Star Trek books? Well, so there are. And I found some, and man, were they ever good. I read lots and lots of classics in my life, and I thought, you know what, it's time to read something fun. So, not that the classics weren't fun, but it was just fun reading something a little more science fiction-y, and they were just as good as anything by Ray Bradbury. Okay, so now we have a double pocket here, and the little flip-down notepad, a pocket here, and the matchbook notepad there. So that one's done. That's number 2. And then for this one, we're going to add this little notebook here. And it really, one of the things that really kind of bugs me when I add these little notepads is they flip open, and I want them to stay closed until I'm ready to use it. But in the past, when I've wrapped a string around it and go to tie it, my fingers don't work as well as they used to, and so I wanted something a little bit more positive. So what I'm going to do, I took this button and this little scrap of fabric and I sewed the button to it, and I'm going to attach that here and then glue this on top of it, and then the string will wrap around the button. That's my solution. So you can see that let's see, hold it down here. I decorated the little book with fussy cut butterfly from Edith Holden, and a flower as well, and I put some bling on the little spine cover that I made from sari silk. Put that there. I'm going to attach the button to the back. I mean, not the button. I'm going to attach the string so it stays in place. Lay that down. And it's just a little notebook. Whoops. Started turning it too soon. With some pages in there. Little extra journaling spots. Wrap that around and voila, it stays closed. Now this I'm going to actually sew in, and I will do it off camera because I want to give this more chance to dry. But what I did with this is I just decorated each individual page with some fussy cuts. This was a sticker of mushrooms. This is a fussy cut from Edith Holden. And then on the backs, I decoupaged on some napkin that I got at the Dollar Tree, which is this one. And I will actually sew it in as I would a regular signature, but just not a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Just sew it in with some baker's twine. But I also sewed down the center of it so that it stays together. So a nice little flip booklet for some more journaling spots. Okay, so we have these 3 signature covers done and ready to add the tags and, you know, any charms that I want to add, and add the signatures. And we'll do that in the next video. And now I'm going to boldly go where no one has gone before. We're going to spend the rest of the day watching Star Trek movies and generally having fun. So live long and prosper, everybody, and we'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.